Welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers. This is Ryan. I'm here with my partner, Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay.
You sounded like a 3-year-old there. And we are talking about, in this episode, the eBay lifestyle. Now, maybe Jay can give us a little rundown.
Well, I think, to be clear, so me and you, we're partners in this
Life
business.
Partners.
We're also like husband and wife, basically.
Right, yes.
And so we also do this together. And then I think it's next week, Mikey and Winnie are going to do the same thing, because we thought it would be interesting to do, each of us kind of tell our stories about, like, the lifestyle we have.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing. Like, eBay is a very easy thing to do. The concept is very simple.
Sure.
That you get this thing, and then if you sell it online, you know? But then what we've all done is try to make this into like a full-time job.
Right.
So none of us have full-time jobs.
Right.
We still do some freelance work.
Freelance tech work, yeah.
And this stuff that we like to do. But the great thing, eBay has allowed us to say no to jobs we don't like to do.
Right.
And really,
which is huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a big thing where you're like, number one, like I was saying earlier, being able to not work at an office, if that's what you want to do. We're independent freelancer type people. And then going to a freelance, which is, freelancer job, which is great. But then moving even further where you're just like, if we want to do the freelance jobs, we can. But we could stay home and work on eBay all week and make the same amount of money.
Where it's given us the ability to even move out into the countryside,
right,
far away from any urban area where we would have to work,
right,
and that even if we wanted to get jobs now, it'd be very difficult because we live too far away, you know, to work full time for someone else. But the great thing is, though, that gave us the ability to move outside of urban areas, and you can get house and land for cheap.
Cheap.
So it costs its money, but
cheaper than the city, though.
It's actually affordable.
Right, it's affordable.
I never thought we would be able to own a home, but it's because we can live in basically communities that have been emptied out. All the manufacturing's gone, no one has any jobs, and we're thriving because we use the internet to sell things online.
Right, and a great thing too is places like rural America are the places where you find interesting things.
It's true.
When we visit New York or Boston or wherever we're visiting, you go to the thrift stores, they've been shopped. You might find something interesting. It's expensive, but
there's a lot of competition.
There's a lot of competition. But here,
right.
You're going to yard sales. Mike and Wendy talk about it all the time. It's like you're paying 50 cents for stuff that you sell for $100, $150. That's crazy.
Because, a lot of times, I hate to say it, there's a lot of the people in rural communities are older.
Right.
So you get a lot of estate sales because people are dying.
Yes.
They come out here, it's retiring, they die. The family gets it's what they want, and then they sell everything else at an auction or at some kind of a yard sale, and they're basically just giving it away.
That's been our thing. Pretty much ever since we met Mikey and Wendy a few years ago. God, it's been like 6 years now or something. But, they moved out to a very, very rural part of the country. And, they kind of convinced us that it's possible. And I think we always try to convince other people of that. Like, there are ways to make a living online.
It's just anytime we hear our friends complain like we did about the rent and the job they don't like and all the internal politics of their jobs and, all that stuff. Like, I don't know. I guess that's one reason why we're doing this podcast, too, is because it's interesting to us to just be able to talk about, like, we'd love to see to see other people do the same thing.
Right,
get out of the urban areas.
Right. And I think also part of it, too, that I think about while I'm working on eBay stuff is, like, especially now, it's springtime, it's like gorgeous outside, like, I'm just sitting in my office listing stuff on eBay, stuff is selling, and it's like, it's almost like really zen-like, like, I'm just like so chill, like, But that's how I make a living. I mean, it's not always easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult dealing with people and whatever, but I mean...
Yeah, and you know, I hate to sound like a shill for eBay, but basically... eBay just happens to be the biggest marketplace online to sell stuff.
Right.
So, and the cool thing about it is that, you know, you and I think came from the same kind of background where like I was always going to thrift stores. Right. I was always kind of a guy that would go and pick up stuff and see if I could use it or get old clothes, just because that's
what kids do when you're like
certain kind of kids.
Well, certain kind of kids. Well, that's what poor kids do.
But the cool thing is that you could then, you know, see that stuff and you could sell that. And then like as you said, I think the biggest thing about it is that I can sleep as long as I want. I mean, we normally wake up around 8 o'clock or so, just
naturally.
It's naturally, but the great thing is I don't have to. You know, we never have to set an alarm clock unless we have another kind of job.
Right.
And the great thing is I can just like wake up in a natural way, and I'm telling you, that right there,
is huge.
Is worth it. If we didn't have to talk about anything else, that's there like, is it, you know?
No, it's true. I mean, it's that low stress.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's stress with the job because you want to make sure you're listing and you want to make your customers happy and you got to deal with returns and, you know, all those things. But, like, the level of stress compared to, like, a regular job or dealing with, you know, clients or, you know, hustling for work, you know, all those things. It's just like, that stuff's just gone.
Right. And like you said, I mean, we're busy bees, so, you know, none of this stuff is, there's no work involved. But the cool thing is that we get to choose when we work. So we'll often put in 40-hour weeks, but we may work 3 days, you know, doing 10-hour days, you know, with taking breaks all in between and, you know, cooking lunch at home.
Yep.
The other cool thing, too, with eBay is that, you know, they have that mobile app.
Right.
So we, you know, go out, we're shopping, we're going to the store, you're going out of town, and you can still sell things and communicate with people just through our phone.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Yep. Like all day long, we have our iPhone set so that anytime a message comes through or an offer or if something sells, the phone has a push alert and it tells you. Now, that's a really important thing. Actually, Mikey taught it to us. It was so funny because we've been on eBay for years, and we heard this noise from his phone where it goes cha-ching, and we're like, what the hell's that? He's like, oh, I made my iPhone make that noise. Like, the cha-ching is what it's all about, you know?
It's right through the eBay app.
The eBay app on, eBay app on the iPhone. I don't know what the Android app is like, but I'm sure it's similar.
Yep. And so, I mean, and so the other thing is that it gives us the ability, to like stock our store full of things. We're big advocates of big inventories, you know, like don't fool around.
Yeah.
Just list a lot of stuff. And so over the past 4 or 5 years, we've been able to get 2,500 things in our store.
26.
And so that way, like next week, we're going to go out of town. We're going to go visit. It's your family, but we'll keep our store turned on, and just tell people that
we're away,
that it's going to take a week to have it shipped, but people will still buy it, so we'll still be selling stuff while we're on vacation.
Now, we have had experience doing that. I think the longest we were away was 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and what we did was we would write to people right away. We wouldn't so much put our store on vacation because it's kind of redundant if you're still letting people buy stuff. But we would just be like, hey, we're away till this date. We are shipping right when we come home. And what was the percentage? About less than 10%.
Right. It was like 9 out of 10 people were totally cool with it. And 1 out of 10 people said, well, I need this right away.
Yeah, I need it faster.
Because it's most people, seems like when they buy something online, as long as they know it's going to get to them, and if you're selling something that's kind of special, then they're, you know.
I think that has something to do with it, too. When you're buying a almost one-of-a-kind item, you know, someone's like, well, I want to, like, keep a hold on that.
Right.
Like, I know it's mine, so
Right.
I'll wait, the 2 weeks or a week or whatever. So
Right.
that's in our favor, I think.
Right.
But that's something that we talk about with Mikey and Wendy too, is, you're either on vacation or you're on a work job or you're visiting family or whatever, and you're still making money. And
Right.
that's the important part. You're like, wow, we made, a
Right.
chunk of change. It's like we're still kind of working.
Right. And to me, this whole scavenging life and selling online on eBay, the whole thing is the hunt. And that's what I
Right.
think a lot of people love, is like, and we love it too. We'll go for a weekend.
Yeah.
We'll go to flea markets and yard sales.
Yeah.
We'll go to auctions.
Yeah.
We'll be selling on our phone, but we'll be hunting for all it's new stuff. We'll be filling up our car full of stuff for
Yep.
literally just, tens of dollars. Like, not even...
Like, where did we go? Was it last weekend? We just were traveling a bunch, just around our area, and we filled the car.
Yep.
And then we counted up how much we spent, and we were like, I don't even think we spent like $100.
Right.
And $100 can seem like a lot, but you have a car full of this crazy, cool, interesting stuff. Like, if you sold one item in your car for $100, you made back all your money.
Right. And so that's a part that I think a lot of us can love, is the hunt and the gathering. And that's the thing, though, about I think being successful at this as a business, is that then you got to get it online.
You got to get
because,
it online.
we see those guys at like the flea markets and stuff. Like, they're obviously good at gathering things.
Yeah.
They probably aren't so good at selling things, and their house is full of stuff, and they have they've got a barn behind their house full of stuff. And those are the guys who, when they die, that's the stuff
we buy their stuff.
Yeah, that ends up at the auction.
Well, and what kills me too is when the dudes at the flea market say, I looked this up on eBay, it's worth $200, and you're like, cool, why don't you sell it on eBay? Because I'm not paying $200 for that thing.
But that's why I think, like, as you said, the eBay lifestyle, the real lifestyle is the putting it online.
Yeah,
and
getting
that's
it online.
Getting into, when we work at home,
Right.
is to have those days where if you're spending 8 hours, a listing on eBay.
That is part of it, and it has to be part of the equation, is putting in the hours to get stuff online.
Right.
Like, if you don't put those hours in,
it's not,
you don't make the money.
It's not glamorous.
Right.
It's not
boring
fun.
sometimes. I mean, sometimes I do have fun. I mean, if I'm listing 20 things is not like a quick job.
Right.
Especially if every item's different. I mean,
and if you're doing as research.
Yes. How much are these shoes worth? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But what's so awesome is when you list something, and you list 20 things, and then 2 of those things sell within the day.
Right.
And you're like, great, that makes me feel so much better. Like, it's not like this stuff's just sitting there forever.
But having those days, like we said, where we have like the windows open, you have the radio on,
the cats are coming in and out, we make lunch.
This, and really, like I've said it before, it's so strange to me to think like how my parents lived, where my dad would wake up, he'd go to work, my mom would go to work, then they would meet each other, late at night, 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and then they would wake up the morning and do the same thing, and then maybe they'd see each other on weekends, and they did that
forever,
decades. It's I like being able to spend time with you.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's true. Well,
but it's fun. It's funny that you say that, though, because it also reminds me of Mikey and Wendy, because in the first podcast, I think Mikey might have talked about this, but when they met each other, they were like, all we want to do is hang out with each other and make stuff out of other stuff. Like, that's all we care about doing. And that's funny, because that's how we felt when we met too, with video and stuff. We were like, let's just make videos all the time. Like, that's all we want to do, But so that's interesting, because, working together, like we work together all the time, you have to like that. I mean, if you have a partner that you're like, go away, it might not work out.
Yeah, I mean, if we couldn't do this together, we probably wouldn't be together.
Right, exactly.
I like that. And if we were to have a kid or something, I mean,
yeah. We'd get them to polish shoes, man.
Yeah.
I think that might be part of it, but yeah.
But it's cool. But yeah, so that's the lifestyle. And I know, like, we haven't really told a lot of our friends that we do this, you know. They just think we're weird gut people now is living out in the country.
They think we have, like, some big farm or something, which is so funny because we don't have a farm.
But, you know, it's I think this is the part of the eBay selling that just, it sounds easy, but it's not. And that's the continuous
it's continuous
organization,
yes,
the listing,
yes,
the handling, you know, customers at the same time, and shipping every day. I mean, we didn't talk about that. Like,
you gotta ship
you do
every
all
day.
the shipping, actually, and every night you go and you spend an hour or so, you know.
And
shipping.
Actually, what's crazy is, like we were talking about, going on, you know, a work vacation, you know, eBay work vacation, whatever. You know, when you get home after 2 weeks, and if you're a pretty big-ish seller,
you have like 100
things to ship.
Right.
You know, when we went away last spring, it was a year ago.
Right.
Oh my God! I think it took me 3 days to pack it all, but I did it, and I was committed to doing it, and personally, I enjoy it, so that really helps. But that's a big part of it. I think a big part of people not wanting to sell on eBay, if you don't want to list stuff and you don't want to ship stuff, you're shit out of luck. I mean, that's, you have to want to do those
I think
things.
the other thing, too, that makes us good at this is that we're anti-hoarders. Like, I love nothing but to get rid of things. Like, I don't
want any of it.
I don't have a lot of clothes myself. I don't have a lot of stuff myself. So I do not want this stuff to stay
in my house,
in our house, or in our buildings. I want to sell this stuff.
And I was talking about this.
It's an obsession.
Yeah, we actually have a small email list of other sellers that we just kind of talk back and forth about issues or questions or whatever. And something I was talking to them about was, I like being able to be a collector, and this might be a whole other podcast, I don't know. I like being able to be a collector of certain items, but I don't have to keep them. Like, I don't have to, like, have them cluttering my house.
Sure.
It's like, I can find them, I can obsess over them, I can be excited, you know, oh, look, I got this other one, and then I can sell it and get it out, you know? It's like a pass-through entity. It's just, I think that's fun, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Especially with clothes. I love finding, like, fancy, weird shoes. I'm like, I would never wear this, but I totally love it, you know, like, as an object.
Yeah, I've really learned a lot about clothes and shoes and fashion. I've learned about antiques. You know, I've learned about, you know, manufacturing history in America. I love all that stuff. You know?
I just don't want it in my house.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't feel I need to.
Like, I don't need a 100-pound typewriter on my mantle, you know,
for staging,
getting dusty. But I will sell you one. You know.
Cool.
But yeah, so the next podcast will be, you know, Mikey and Wendy talking about the same thing. I totally look forward
to hearing them, because because I think we've gone back and forth with each other, and we always learn a lot from them and their MO, how they operate.
You know? their whole lifestyle and how eBay fits into that too. So
cool.
All right. Bye.